fix it in pre, which is something that like you want to do as much as possible. You want to fix it in pre-production,
Yeah,
ideally. But yeah,
but ideals for cowards.
mm-hmm. Close is good enough for horseshoes and hand grenades. All right, welcome to the C Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm Connor.
And today, for the beginning of the show, I wanted to go through and kind of just have an activity of, so this is a post from Squared Circle on Reddit. Shout out to OP Ash Toe 320. And they ask, what is your favorite wrestling tweet? And the first one, the example, I'm like, I had a big fart there, brain fart there. The example is a quote tweet from Randy Orton on Soulja Boy. I'll start with the Soulja Boy tweet. You a bitch at Randy Orton, and I mean that, emoji 100, pussy. And then Randy quote tweets, my dick taller than you, weighs more too. Go to bed, you infant. You're welcome for the boost. Go choke on a keyboard. So the activity that we're going to do today is I'm going to read out a tweet. You're going to guess who tweeted it.
Ooh, okay, I'm with this. Go ahead.
Cool. So the first one here, it's from October 18th, 2019. Riddle huge for teenage boys.
Riddle huge for teenage boys. Sounds like something that like Ryback would post.
No, Dave Meltzer.
Oh, Meltzer?
Dave Meltzer. This one's a classic. Damn, Bam. I wish you were still with us. I sure would love to hang out again. My brother, love you, miss you.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
And he's alive.
And Bam responds, I'm alive, brother, but miss you too. Oh, here's another good one. Finally got my copy of hashtag WWE 13. Can't wait to play it tonight on the bus. And can't wait, with an E, to beat my kids as well. Enjoy.
That's Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio.
Little did he know how much more that would hold in, whatever. That was 2K13, so what, 12 years later?
Yeah. Okay, here's the last one that I will... 77,000 jobs lost in the green energy sector. Buyouts and federal government jobs. Off we go on an unemployment cycle. And then the response here is from a user on Twitter named Metallica09. And he says, you work in green energy? Fake ass. Yes, they use my as the base of a wind turbine.
Oh, man. I have no idea. The thing of it being about, like, green energy makes me think, like, Daniel Bryant during, like, that, but he would definitely never tweet that.
Kevin Nash.
Oh, yep, that'll do. Yep, yeah, Kevin Nash would say that big style.
But, yeah, yes, they use my as the base of a wind turbine is an incredible tweet. And let's keep in mind that this is a 2025 tweet, so, like, if you're on Twitter in 2025, it's just like, who gives a yeah. So, but yeah. Good. I'm glad that we enjoyed that activity.
That was awesome.
We'll bring that back at some point.
Hell yeah.
All right. And welcome to The C Show. All right. Welcome back to The C Show. I'm Charlie.
I'm Connor.
And we're back. It's week 4, 004. We're here to talk about SmackDown on March 21st. The WWE crew was in Bologna, Italy, which is in the north. It's been 18 years since the WWE was last in Italy. And then a really packed show. We have the Liv versus Jade showdown. We have Strowman versus Fatu, big boys, and we will have a guaranteed appearance from CM Punk. But the show starts out on a banger. Randy Orton's music starts, and he gets the mic. He's in the middle of the ring. As Randy is breathing in to start speaking, Kevin Owens' music starts playing.
So Kevin Owens comes out and he admits that he was wrong for attacking Randy when it happened and he injured him. But he then made it very clear that both Cody and Sammy deserved it.
Yes.
He's like, hurting you, my bad. Those other two guys, nah, I was right on point there. KO says that I forgive you for picking Cody's side. If you forgive me for what I did to you, he wants some quid pro quo here.
I don't understand it, but it's really funny because he's just like, yeah, you didn't deserve it. I nearly sidelined you permanently, but Sammy and Cody deserved everything. He said, "Oh, I'm just human. You're quebecois. It's questionable."
Kevin Owens said that he pulled Mello out of the ring last week to protect Randy from himself. He said that no one wants to see that Randy Orton again.
2009 Randy Orton.
And then immediately KO was like, what if we become tag team champions at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Like, we were so close. Like, what if we're tag team champions?
Yeah.
To try and be like, see, we can move past this. We can be champions. Randy says that he should roll out of the ring and beat his ass all over the arena.
Yes.
He can take his half-hearted apology and shove it up his ass.
But he references, they're in Bologna, Italy. They reference Robert Baggio, who played for Bologna from 1997 to 98. He scored 30 goals in 22 appearances. He also played for Fiorentina, Juventus, AC Milan, Inter Milan, and Brescia. So a pretty accomplished career for Mr. Baggio.
Thank you. I had no idea who that was, and I literally have in my notes, Charlie, who is this?
Yeah, I almost forgot to link it there in my notes as well. But yeah, Roberto Baggio is like a legend of 90s Serie A, which is the league in Italy. They call it Calcio. The Italians call it Calcio. There's Calcio Storico. That's a whole other thing. But like 90s Serie A was like one of the primo leagues in Europe. So you had like El Fenomeno Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Kaká, just like amazing players. Edgar Davids. Yeah, the list goes on.
Very nice. I was going to say thank you for that information there because, again, I did not know. Randy then comes back and it's like, oh, before it was always fight Owens fight. Now it's bitch Owens bitch. Randy said that he was glad that he got dropped on his head because he hears the voices again. And at WrestleMania, I'm going to kick your head clean off your shoulders.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, that's really exciting because Kevin Owens has been on one.
To say the least.
To say the least. Sir, this is a Wendy's. But yeah, no, to have Randy moving into this baby face role or this face role, an anti-hero-esque role, because he's still the Viper, he's still the apex predator, but
yeah, it's awesome that he gets to be the face here while being like, no, I'm gonna punt your head off your shoulders. Like like the first time around when he was doing the punt, and like even before that with the Legend Killer gimmick and all, like he was always the heel for that. So now that he's like, no, I'm doing it for good, I'm actually so excited about.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a lot of fun in Vegas. All right. You did want to talk about Priest McIntyre recap, right?
Yeah, just briefly, we just get, again, the broad strokes of Drew saying, oh, I was screwed by Priest. Every bad thing that happened to me, he was there, whether it was the Royal Rumble, whether it was Elimination Chamber. So I have nothing left to do but basically mercilessly attack him until I decide to stop.
Yeah. There's also during the commercial break, there's a promo, a commercial for the roast of WrestleMania with Tony Hinchcliffe.
I saw that, and because that's the guy from Kill Tony, is
Correct.
it?
Kill Tony. He was also the news item of the roast of Tom Brady because he made that joke about Puerto Rico being a trash island. Yeah. Tony himself, he's not that funny, in my opinion. The jokes kind of write themselves. The roast of WrestleMania, why? But I think roasts are becoming popular again, and Netflix had such success with the roast of Tom Brady. That was also kind of like a test run for them to do Raw, to do the NFL games at Christmas, do all of this live stuff. So it's really interesting to see how that's reverberating out. Yeah. That burp was like the roast of WrestleMania. Underwhelming. All right. Do you have something? Okay, cool.
No, I'm ready to talk about the tag match.
Yeah, let's get into this tag match. So we've got Priest and Jimmy Uso versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Drew McIntyre. Priest and Drew have been pretty clear about this the past couple of weeks, but anytime they see each other, it is on site.
Oh my God. Literally, Drew does not even finish his entrance. He doesn't even get to take off his kilt, and he's getting met on the ramp by Priest. That was absolutely awesome. They fight down to the ring. Shinsuke comes out too, and then Jimmy hits the dive out on Drew and Shinsuke. Just really a great way to get this going before they finally actually get in the ring and are able to ring the bell to start here. Jimmy goes up early, but Drew hits him with a really nice belly to belly. Drew like slingshots him into the ropes. Did you see that where he hung him out on the sides and then pulled him up? I always love that move. Drew takes every chance he can to knock Damian off the apron, just every cheap shot. And it's funny because yes, he is picking on Priest and trying to get his revenge, but that's also just very good tag team wrestling. If you're not on the apron, you can't tag in, right? They really get to isolate Jimmy out there. And again, working to that, he's got to get this hot tag in as soon as possible. He eventually does get that. First thing Damian does, knock Drew off the apron, right? A little return. And gets in some cheap shots.
Yes.
Eventually we get Damian back in. He goes and he hits that old school crossbody, which I talked about before. Homage to The Undertaker.
Yep.
And then he hits Shinsuke with a clothesline that I just put as turned him inside out. Shinsuke did what people affectionately call the Rikishi bump and did the full flip with it, which was awesome.
Oh yeah, those are always great.
Right. So Drew breaks that up. Damian hits the South of Heaven after he clears the ring on Shinsuke and wins.
Yeah, it was a pretty quick tag team match. But immediately after the bell, because it's Priest pinning Nakamura.
Yes.
Drew obviously doesn't like the result, immediately comes back into the ring and starts beating up on Priest. Drew beats up on Priest, and then Priest ends up claymoring him, which was, I thought, a fun turn there. You're looking at me with confusion. Did I mess up in my notes?
Drew claymored him, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Probably.
No, for a second I was confused. I'm because, it was that same thing where Priest stands up, Drew hits him with another claymore. And what I really liked is they had a really close shot of him, about 3 inches from Priest's face saying, "All I've got is this.
Every time you get up, I'll beat you down."
So yeah, this is going to keep building. I think it's going to be really good for WrestleMania. I hope they throw some kind of stipulation on it. And again, they still have 20 some days to build this out a little more. So
yeah,
I'm very excited to see how this goes.
After the tag team match, we've got LA Knight and Braun Strowman backstage. LA Knight starts off by saying, "I hope you knock Fatu back to factory settings," which is something that I'm going to start using more often.
Yeah, I love that. I will. I'll absolutely be stealing that. LA Knight let Strowman know that he'll be watching his back tonight because the Bloodline is always going to play the numbers game, and he has more hate in his heart for the Bloodline than anyone else at this moment.
Yes.
But then Strowman drops a little thing that LA Knight didn't seem to know. He says that he talked to Nick Aldis, and this is actually a number 1 contenders match for the United States Championship.
And that kind of adds a new layer of complexity for LA Knight, because he doesn't want to face somebody from the Bloodline, but also Braun Strowman's scary.
Braun Strowman is scary. I'd rather face one Braun Strowman than all of the Bloodline.
Yes, agreed.
Lesser of two evils.
Indeed. And then we get back on the road to WrestleMania. We've got It's Tiffy time and Charlotte Flair with the dual interview. Little wordplay there. Listen, you got Tiffany on the left, Tiffany Stratton, and then you got Charlotte Flair on the right, and they're supposed to be doing this interview at the same time, being asked the same questions. It just looks like a Fox News panel. It just looks like Fox News. And that's all I have to say. People are like, yeah, it does look like Fox News.
No, I 100% agree with that, especially when they start yelling over each other.
Like
they ask Tiffy, they try and ask Tiffy a question first. Charlotte cuts her off.
The queen goes first.
Exactly. The queen goes first.
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte says that last week was when she finally saw that fire in Tiffany.
Yeah.
And it's because Charlotte always brings the best out of everybody.
I would maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Yes and no. Charlotte says that she will shine her light on Tiffy at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Tiffy reminds everyone that Charlotte was one of her biggest supporters back in the day.
Yep.
And then Tiffy says, but what Charlotte always does is finds the hottest thing and throws water on it.
Yeah. Speaking of water, Charlotte says, "I almost had a tear."
Charlotte says that Tiffy will be lucky to have a job when she is Charlotte's age.
Yeah, that was weird. I didn't like that. It made me feel weird.
Yeah, I don't know how old she is, and again with all the plastic, I can't really tell.
Mm-hmm.
But it finished strong with Tiffy saying the WWE runs on Tiffy time.
That's right. I do set my watch to Tiffy time. Surprisingly, it's just Central Standard. All right. After that, we had Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. Because we're in Italy, it's Uno Grande SOB. Immediately, we had Fatu off the ropes onto Strowman, just two big boys going at it against each other. And Fatu was holding Strowman's braids and beards. I don't know why I put that in there. But yeah, no. Just immediately, just like they're going at it. I put it in my notes. LA Knight will probably appear at some point.
You have to assume,
with the
Chekhov's LA
foreshadowing.
Knight. I just loved in the very beginning, Strowman did not learn the lesson we discussed a couple episodes ago. You don't headbutt a Samoan.
No.
Jacob immediately counters it.
Mm-hmm.
Strowman then hits an awesome back body drop, really got him up there.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's time for the Strowman Express.
He does. He tries to start the Express.
He certainly tries.
He certainly tries, but it gets stopped.
Jacob ends up literally throwing him over the announce table, really on it, and then Jacob does a big jump off the apron.
Yes.
Strowman then recovers, throws Jacob in the steel steps, but then Jacob takes over when we're in the commercials. When we come back, Jacob is cooking a little bit.
Yeah.
He hit a huge Samoan drop, which, again, I love. The idea of getting someone that big up, right, followed up with a big boy senton. And then Strowman actually hit Fatu with a Samoan spike of his own, which I thought was very funny. I love when guys steal moves, like going back last week to Madison Square Garden on Raw when Punk and Rollins were both stealing each other's finishers.
Yeah.
I think that just throws such an interesting dynamic in. And some people get upset, but it's the idea of, it's my finishing move because I do it the best. Like, you won't get up from it. Like, the DDT used to be Jake Roberts' finishing move. And they ask him, like, are you mad people just, use the DDT all the time now? He's like, no, I was just better. When I did it, the guys didn't get up. So I love when people take others' finishing moves and all that.
Like, I feel the DDT is so often used. Like, I'm still getting familiar with, learning all of the wrestling moves and everything, identifying them. But the DDT feels, very iconic. It's, up there with things like the Stone Cold Slammer, things like
Stunner.
the Stunner. Thank you. See? The 619, even, maybe even the Iron Claw, right? So, I was watching that the other night.
It's a great movie.
Rewatching it. But yeah, no, I think it's also really funny. It's also really fun, not funny. But when Punk and Rollins are going at it and stealing each other's moves, using the stomp, using the go to sleep, and because they're taunting each other, they're pissed at each other, and it's a way to taunt each other and say, "Hey, I can do your signature move better than you can." And and in a dynamic between Punk and Rollins in their relationship, that's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. So the match ends up finishing because the Bloodline comes out and jumps Strowman.
Yep, Tama Tonga and Solo Sikoa.
But what happens is Jacob's pissed.
Yes.
Because, again, that's a DQ win. Since they attack Strowman, he wins by DQ. Strowman starts to fight back a little bit, right? The numbers game catches up with him.
Yeah.
But then we hear L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
So he comes out for the save. He's punching off Fatu and Solo, gets jumped by Tonga.
Yeah.
Strowman comes back and makes that save, right? Him and LA Knight clean house. And now we know that we have LA Knight and Strowman next week.
Yeah, and them facing off at the end of that segment, in the center of the ring like that, they should have given them mics. That would have been so much fun to listen to.
Yeah, I would have loved it, and I love that too. When they have just the ring mics, and you can kind of just hear what they're saying. It's I'll see you next week or whatever else they're saying. Yeah,
yeah. So they have what are called shotgun microphones on the cameras. Yeah. So a shotgun microphone is usually what you'll see on a boom on like a movie set. But the advantage of a shotgun microphone is that you point it in a direction and it can capture audio from 20, 30, 40 feet away, which is really advantageous. The mics that we're using are called hand mics, and so they're meant for hand use. So I love it when they get that ambient sound in, they mix it in with the within the audio mix. It's really fun, and you can even go back and watch some bloopers and stuff and hear them going through stuff and hey, hold here, do this, etc., etc. So more production stuff. I got more production stuff during the Judgment Day stuff.
Okay.
Backstage, we go to Kathy Kelly with Liv and Raquel. Liv says that the fight with Jade is personal because she had time to update her Instagram, but not update the world about what happened.
I absolutely love that. It is very funny to think that people are you did this horrible thing, you committed this crime, and the person I'm to, it's I know it wasn't them, but I got more important things to do. I gotta show people this fit check. I gotta show people I'm coming back soon. And I think it was just a very interesting way to make it where it's okay, now these two can feud and they can get after each other.
Do you want to know something interesting I learned about Jade Cargill?
What you got?
Before being a wrestler, she was a child psychologist.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She also loves softball.
Oh, okay.
She I don't remember if it's that she owns a team or is part of a team in Texas for a softball league. Yeah, she.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, she's super interesting.
Yeah, no, fascinating. Liv says that Naomi couldn't finish the job, so I will.
We then cut to Jacob backstage, and he is having a moment.
He is not happy.
He is beyond pissed.
Yeah.
Solo says, we were just trying to help. Jacob said, when I'm taking care of my business, you better watch it, Oos.
You better watch it, Oos. And it's just very clear. It's just okay, I had it under control. Everything was fine. And you guys rolled it and you messed it all up. Yeah, no, I thought that was really funny. And just when you try to do the best for your boy and it just doesn't work out, it just blows up back in your face.
Yeah, it's interesting. They'll keep doing this, and because it seems like there would be something going on with Jacob and Solo, and then since Solo immediately took a back seat to Jacob, it's well, maybe they'll just kind of keep this going, but it seems like they're definitely building more tension between them. So I'm sure that's going to have to blow up soon. I don't know if that'll be WrestleMania. I don't know if they'll have to kind of take that to Backlash or whatever's after to kind of build up to.
And I'm sure depending on whatever happens at WrestleMania, for Jay as well, if he does bring home if he does win the Intercontinental Championship, will that cause a divide further within the bloodline, jealousy around Jay and Jimmy and their success? So,
if Jay wins the world title,
yes,
okay, I got you.
What I said Intercontinental. I meant the world title. All right. After that backstage, we go back to the main ring. We've got Piper Niven versus Zelina Vega. Piper, of course, is accompanied by Chelsea Green and Alba Fry. The really funny thing is the ring announcer, and I forget her name, and I should have looked it up, but she does the Chelsea Green inflection. Chelsea Green! Which I think is great. It's fun. Immediately, Zelina was getting chippy with Chelsea and Alba. Because hey, why are you bringing these two along? They're just here. Another fun thing, we always talk about the talls and the smalls in wrestling. Piper has nearly a head on Zelina Vega. It was truly a battle of the talls and the smalls.
And right away they show those kinds of differences. Literally, Piper starts the match by just giving Zelina a belly bump, just I'm bigger than you. Let's see how this goes. So Zelina starts with like a rolling kick and then immediately starts going for the Code Red, one of her finishers, and gets knocked down. There'll be a couple times she's kind of chasing that throughout the match. And also she kept using this choke, right? The idea of like jumping on Piper's back and getting a choke in to try and wear her down. Right, just make her use that energy to kind of throw her off there.
I feel like that's a classic of the smaller wrestler. Just like, okay, I'm going to jump on your back. It reminds me of like, when you'd be fighting with your siblings and your younger sibling would do that. Very classic move.
Piper hits a big slam after 10 punches from Zelina. Piper hits her with a Glasgow kiss, right?
Yes.
That very sick headbutt. Piper picks her up to go for a press slam.
Yep.
Zelina wiggles out, and what she do? Puts in another choke. And then Zelina gets her in this like really cool like modified octopus.
Okay.
That's what commentary called it, right? And then had a really smooth transition to a pin there.
Nice.
Zelina hit a couple Meteoras, the first one in the corner, and then jumped off the second rope. Misses another Code Red, sets up for the 619. Piper tries to counter, hits a tornado DDT.
Nice.
Commentary called it a satellite. So I don't know if that's just her move or like I love that, right? Satellite DDT sounds so awesome.
It does sound really cool.
Zelina knocks Chelsea off the apron. Chelsea comes up, tries to interfere. She hits the 619 on Piper and then gets distracted by Alba Fire. And then Piper uses that distraction to hit a humongous crossbody.
The running crossbody.
Oh my God! Like we kind of made fun of Jey Uso for winning with that on Raw last week because it was like what I would not get up from that pipe. Like she hurled herself at Zelina. It was awesome.
Unstoppable object versus immovable force.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then we cut to after Piper wins that match, we have another Cena Town Hall recap, his breakup, blah 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 blah. Again, just cutting this stuff like a horror movie. I don't know if you noticed this, but there was a red filter all over Cena's footage.
Oh no, I didn't.
And then Cody walks out, and the footage now has a white filter over it.
Oh, jeez.
Cody's our angel. He's come to save us from the devil, John Cena. Yeah, again, just Cody as our savior. They're doing such a great job of that. And cutting John Cena's stuff as a horror movie trailer. I love it. We get another appearance of that Smokey 4. We don't know what it's leading to. I was expecting to see a Smokey 3 this week.
Oh, countdown style?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they're counting down the WrestleMania or something. I don't know. Maybe this Friday we'll see a Smokey 3, and then we'll be like, oh, okay, it is actually a countdown. Or, again, what I think it is it's Fantastic Four crossover.
Oh.
But it doesn't make sense for the new Fantastic Four branding, because it's going to be retro futuristic, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if you've seen the trailer.
I have not.
It's pretty cool.
I was thinking that there's going to be some fourth member of everything going on with The Rock and John Cena. I thought it was kind of an homage because all the times they talk about Travis Scott having his sage in the ring and burning. So I was I wonder if this is a somewhere out in the air, something that you can someone that you can see but you don't know will be this fourth member.
Okay, Smokey 4. We'll see what happens with that. But then after that mysterious vignette, we get Jade Cargill and Kathy Kelly, right? Mm-hmm. Yes. Jade is wearing what I affectionately call the Tyler art style. And if you went to Temple, you know what I'm talking about. We're going to move on. The Mona Lisa.
I loved it. I'm not gonna lie. I was that's
it's really
awesome.
Well done.
Exactly. Not only is it okay, that makes sense. It was really well done. People were eating it up. It was so great.
Because if I think correctly, Mona Lisa is the woman, the subject of the portrait. She is a trader's wife from Bologna.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
I want to say that. I might be talking out of my butt. Okay, hold on.
So that's fine. While you look that up, I'm just going to talk about this promo real quick. So Jade also says that Liv wanted to try it, and she will show her now. and that after she's done with Liv, Naomi, all eyes are on you. This is just a little preview of what I'm going to do to you.
Okay. Her name is, I just had it. Lisa Gherardini, wife of a Florentine silk merchant. So Florence down in the south. Other part of the boot.
The heel.
That is so good. That is beyond. Oh. Oh, that's so good. God damn.
Thank you.
Clip that. Yeah, so Jane initially dominates this match. And Raquel at one point just takes her out. Raquel definitely wants some smoke. She's trying to create distractions for Liv so that she can interfere. It's really fun to watch Liv get beat up on.
Absolutely. What I loved is that there were, I didn't count as I go through my notes, we can talk about them, but there were multiple times that Liv goes for Oblivion, and Jade every time just like catches her and either tries to slam her, right? Sometimes Liv counters, and they go back and forth a lot. There were multiple times that she was trying to go for Oblivion on someone just so much stronger than her and almost caught her every damn time until she eventually gets it later. There's a point where Jade hits a fall away slam and then does a kip up. Like when anyone does that, I'm impressed, especially someone like as big and as like muscular as Jade Cargill.
Yeah,
just throws herself up. And then Liv just kind of tries to be like, deuces, I'm out of here. Forget this. I hate this match. I'm over it. Jade follows her up the ramp and hits Liv in the back and throws her back in the ring. Yeah. And Raquel's just like still walking, just like not watching. And then like when they're going, Raquel's kind of like, hey, like not running after them.
Yeah.
You think at that point she would like jump Jade and be like, F it, we are getting out of here. But no, just kind of lets it go. It's like, bye.
Naomi shows up. And at this point, Jade tries to attack, but Naomi gets the upper hand and ends up with Liv getting the pin.
Can we talk real quick? Did you notice what Naomi was wearing?
She had the caution tape, right?
Her outfit was covered in caution tape. Car accident. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So Jade gets hit with the tag belt by Naomi. That's what lets Liv hit the Oblivion and win. Naomi jumps Jade after and is like just raining down these punches and these slaps, and then does where she like picks up her arm and stomps through her chest. Like I love that move.
The referee is pleading with her to just like stop. Like the match is over. Like you're just beating up for no reason. They really need to improve security at the WWE.
They need to just stop hiring local security.
Yeah, like I don't know. Yeah, these like Allied Security or whatever. You know, what was that? Allied Barton.
One last thing about this. Again, we were talking earlier about kind of stealing moves in matches. Did you notice how Naomi was doing Jade's taunt? A handful of times that she was beating her ass at the end, hit like the storm hands and all. So I cannot wait to see what they have for these two. I think that match is going to go absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be bonkers. They're fantastic. Jade's a phenomenal. So electric. After that, we had a quick interview with Drew and Kathy. Drew is walking out of the stadium. He's got his suitcase. I don't think he's leaving for the day, but he's like, I'm grumpy. I'm mad. I'm leaving.
I've explained it so simply. A 5-year-old would get it.
Yeah. You want to poke holes in my logic, but you can't.
He calls Priest a vulture, and he's like
an emo vulture.
Oh,
an emo vulture, which I feel like is perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that is perfect. He says, "You say I complain, but all I do is tell the truth. I'll see you in London."
And he does face off with Seth Rollins, who is wearing a jacket from the Oven Mitt collection. Back at the ring, we have Street Profits, who have some news for us. Your new tag team champions, the Street Profits. Angelo once again hits the Suey. the iconic Ronaldo celebration, Cristiano Ronaldo. We get more "You Deserve It" chants. Those have been really popular lately. We need a handshake like Street Profits at some point. That's not a now thing. But
Oh,
just
so in.
yeah, just put it in the agenda somewhere.
No, absolutely. So the biggest thing from this beginning part is I just really liked Montez said there was some doubt over these last 4 years since they were champions, but no matter what happens, I can always count on my brother.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no feel-good moment without someone coming out to ruin it.
We have Legado de Fantasma, who start off with speaking a little Italian for the hometown crowd. But then immediately, like, we've got half the entire tag team roster coming out. Pretty Deadly comes out. They also want the smoke as well. And they offer a fight immediately.
Yes, so Pretty Deadly comes out just to remind Legado del Fantasma that they are the number one contenders, right? They beat them in that kind of scramble the weeks before. And Santos writes us know, like, you can run your mouth all night long. We've earned the opportunity, right? And so they need to step aside and stay out of it. Montrez Ford said, whoa, about 21 times.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And then says, if Legado wants a fight, then they'll fight. So we see a ref run down the ramp, and after we come back from the commercial, we know it's on.
During the commercial break, though, we do have another vignette for the silhouetted figure, a masked luchador doing a 619. Again, we'll get more into this as we talk about Raw, but, like, we know it's Chad. When we get back, Santos is shit-talking in the crowd. There's the Garza special on Angelo Dawkins and Ford pumping up the crowd.
This was a very good match.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. There were a lot of very good double team moves as well. Los Garzas hit like a very cool like leapfrog clothesline move. Berto hit that leaping moonsault, which I always love. They try and hit Dawkins with the Garza special, but Ford breaks it up. Eventually, through a lot of back and forth, right, we get a hot tag to Ford, hits a big spine buster. Los Garza try and hit their FTY, but Ford lands on his feet, and then he's kind of like all smiles, and they're both on the ropes like, oh, we messed up big. Ford jumps up, hits a superplex. Dawkins hits a big dive to the outside. Love when a big man takes the dive outside, and then Ford hits the from the heavens for the win.
Yeah, that big splash from Montez Ford. Loved that. We cut to backstage, and we have the man, the myth, the legend, Paul Heyman getting out of the van. But then we cut to DIY and Pretty Deadly backstage. Basically, they're facing off in London next week, but DIY offers a quid pro quo.
So DIY is like, hey, we'll make sure you win next week, and then you just make sure we're in the front of the line.
Yeah.
And again, they were the parts of the teams, right, that started this whole avalanche of the tag division going absolutely crazy. It was Pretty Deadly's lie about who jumped who that started this.
Gotcha.
But Pretty Deadly just says no. They're like, no, we got this far. We can handle it.
And because then Motor City Machine Guns pop in, and they were wondering, hey, why do you guys get to jump ahead? Why are you guys negotiating and jiminying the way things are like this?
And they say, welcome to the back of the line, and that Motor City Machine Guns has just been waiting here to kick their asses.
Oh, love it.
I love the Motor City Machine Gun. Like, I love them when they were in TNA.
Yeah.
Like they've been wrestling forever. Like, I love the Motor City Machine Guns.
Total nonstop action.
Cross the line.
Not the other TNA. Hi, Mom. Okay. All right. Let's pop into the HOV lane because we're on the express lane to WrestleMania. Roman Reigns comes out. The Italian crowd, they were pretty vocal. There were a couple points where they were chanting what I have to assume is like the asshole chant. it was like Cero, Cero, Cero. I have to assume that's like their asshole chant. But they were also singing "That's Our Tribal Chief, That's Our Tribal Chief" to Roman Reigns. CM Punk tried to screw me, I screwed him. Seth Rollins tried to kill me, I tried to kill him. And then immediately we hear "Burn It Down." Seth Rollins comes out.
First things first.
Yeah.
Fit check.
Fit check. No shirt, looking like Grimace. I know that somebody says that later. But like, yeah, no, absolutely. Grimace with the from the Oven Mitt collection.
So Seth Rollins comes out, lets Roman Reigns know you messed up. He doesn't understand how dangerous CM Punk is to the industry as a whole.
Yes.
And that he should have let him finish the job.
Yep.
Seth Rollins says there is no you without me. We have this story together, and I think it's time we add another chapter.
Yeah, it's not about him. It's about you and me, which I thought was really interesting. We're like looping back to this story point from 11 years ago, right, with the Shield and Dean Ambrose. I'm interested to see if Dean comes back in any sort of capacity, but he's with AEW now, right, as John Moxley.
Yeah, and he's literally their world champion right now.
Okay.
So I assume there's going to be no cross for quite a while. I don't know when his contract is up, but it's going to be a minute.
Well, I will be seeing John Moxley April 6th.
Hell yeah.
So, but yeah, as Rollins and Roman Reigns are arguing, we hear that the more that I hear it, the more that I love it. But Cult of Personality,
rocks!
That riff,
it's such a great intro song.
Oh, so amazing.
So, do you know how I knew CM Punk was ready to fight as he was walking down?
How?
Did you peep that he took off his bracelet, right? The bracelet that he wears. That was the whole thing about Drew McIntyre, and his watch, and puts them both in his pocket.
Oh.
Literally, as he's walking down the ramp, you see him take them both off and stick them in his pockets.
I have noticed when he's just going on to do like a town hall, like he's just gonna like talk into the mic, even after like walking out of Gorilla, he like does something on his Apple Watch, and I think he's starting an exercise or something. He has to be.
Got close your rings.
Yeah, no, I mean I don't blame him, but like, he's probably just tracking like, hey, like it's a bunch of people singing your song, chanting your name, like yelling at everything that you're doing. Like, yeah, your heart rate's gonna go up. You're gonna have a physical response to that.
So CM Punk comes out and calls them Big Chief and Grimace.
Big Chief and Grimace.
As you mentioned before, he really keeps punching this point of that neither of them have beat him without the other's help. Punk says the only reason Roman is still here and the Tribal Chiefs because he saved his ass at War Games.
Yep.
And then he thanks Paul Heyman for delivering the Tribal Chief on a silver platter. Then we go.
Yeah. It basically just evolves into a cloud of dust. It starts with Punk attacking Roman with the mic. Rollins pops in without a shirt. Rollins gets thrown into a turnbuckle by Roman. Rollins just on top of Roman throwing fists at Punk.
Did you notice when so Roman's attacking Punk after he throws him in the turnbuckle that Seth Rollins comes over and like throws his jacket kind of over there. He like uses his jacket as a weapon.
I did see that.
And it just made me think of like, and I know it made me think of, I wonder if he's trying to make him go to sleep like a bird. Nighttime. Nighttime.
I'm sure that's like a thought process there of just like, oh yeah, let me just throw the jacket on top and that'll just end this all. Yeah, an awesome end to the show on Friday night. I really loved that ending. The thing that I want to point out is I feel like sometimes it drags the shows because it's just like it's a fight. And then it's like, it's a fight, then it's a town hall, and then they've got a backstage thing, and like some things feel dragged out, or like, hey, they're putting the wrong time in the wrong places. We've talked about that previously, but it felt really well paced. It felt like really well balanced. There was a good mix of like just drama, like hey, just people arguing with each other, and then the straight physical action. So,
no, I thought it was a great episode, especially the ending, the fact that all three of them got their time to point at the Wrestlemania sign when they were kind of standing tall. And then I referred to the ending as we're out of time because like they were still going at it and they're just like, well, we're out of here. Here's the credits.
And I honestly love that because sometimes
yeah.
it does feel like they're pushing to the end to just be like, all right, let's show Paul Levesque and Lee Fitting's names and move on. But it really felt like I love it when they close on that and like they show they start showing the credits and it's boom, like there's something going on. It's going to lead in. Yeah. Anything else about SmackDown?
No, I'm good. That again, great show.
Yeah.
I usually hate that SmackDown is 3 hours. This is one of the ones that didn't actually feel like 3 hours, which was very relieving.
Yeah. So, big fan of that. All right. Well, thanks for joining us so far on the C Show. We'll be right back with Raw. Show. We're talking wrestling. We're talking Raw. March 24th, 2025 in Glasgow, Scotland. The arena is silent except for one man. And then you hear those horns.
And his name is John Cena.
But immediately it's John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. Like just like immediately, like the melody starts, the horn melody starts, and it's just boom. It's just John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks.
Yeah, it was literally recognized like from the first note. Like people didn't even hesitate. It's like they talked about before. It's like as soon as we hear John Cena's, just go.
Yeah,
just go.
It's like that little percussion element, like the little drum roll. Yeah.
Cena comes out, and I thought it was very interesting. The first thing he says is something on your mind?
Is something on your mind?
Which I thought was funny for two reasons. One, just like obviously they're screaming John Cena sucks and everything under the sun at him. And two, it's just like, you know, it sort of like Cody's like, what do you want? Like again, like a weird like opposite side version of what do you want to talk about? What's on your mind? And again, underneath that, I put, is he doing an accent? Because both me and my wife were like, this does not sound like normal John Cena. Like, it just sounded just a little different. Like, and I wish I could describe it better.
No,
but
I hear you. He felt very proper last night. He felt the diction was like phenomenal. Like he enunciated everything. He was very clear with it. It was a very different John Cena.
I think like calculated, not emotional. Like before he was always, you know, I draw off you and everything is like, you know, based off my hate for their part. But like, yeah, for him to be just
very serious.
Yeah.
Very serious. He says, I put a clueless kid on blast. His pathetic face was everywhere. And basically it's just like, you guys are terrible people. Wrestling fans are terrible people. Us included, by the way, because we also put that kid on blast.
Yeah, we did.
We did put that kid on blast. He had to be a plant, right? Like, you watch the footage back, and it's like, why did they have a camera there right on that kid? Why isn't the holographic sticker that's like WWE authentic item? Why is that still on? Like at that point, like at that, like it's like on his chest. It's like on his upper chest. It's like that's one of the first things you pull off, right? Especially if it's like right on the front there. So I think the kid was a plant. I think it's great though. The fuck you Cena chants start, and John asks, "Who's worse, me, a guy who always tells the truth, no, not totally wrong, or the audience for using profanity?" What's your profanity?
And he says, I wasn't mean. I paid attention.
Yes.
Like the worst person you know went to a second session of therapy.
I'm listening.
Cena says that he's basically been like studying the crowd and rewarding them, and he knows more about them than they could ever know about him. And that this is all they have.
Well, we're all horrible people. We make it so easy for him. This is all we have. We have been nothing more than an experiment. Rats in a cage,
baby.
he references April 2005. He gave us the Spinner Championship.
Can I lore dump a little bit?
Yeah, Lord up.
Okay, cool. So when John Cena won the championship from JBL, there was this whole storyline about him getting a new belt. And he debuted this WWE spinner belt, which a lot of people didn't like. Like, here, are you pulling up on your phone when I say WWE spinner belt? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. I'm pulling up something else.
Ruh-roh. And at first, like, people didn't really like that's not what a championship belt is supposed to be. And from what I've heard, and I wish I could quote it, like I've heard this from so many different places, that WWE was only going to use the championship for John Cena. But right when he debuted the spinner belt, they started making replica titles. And people bought so many spinner belts that they're like, we can't get rid of the spinner belt. We just sold so many replicas of it.
Is that when they started selling replicas? Because I feel like I can remember replicas before 2005. But like,
apparently that's when WWE like heavily like marketed their own, I believe.
Gotcha. Yeah. Shoot, I saw this earlier and I should have tagged it, or I should have saved it. Allegedly, I saw a video today of a new Cena Spinner Championship belt. Allegedly.
That's
is now listen, hear me out. Something that Disney does with Star Wars is that they will withhold information about a show to the toy companies, because that's where the leaks happen.
Yeah.
Is the toys, because the toys need more time than a lot of other things marketing wise. And so like for Star Wars stuff specifically, they've gotten they've gotten stuff spoiled early because like, oh, hey, this character, et cetera, goes bad or whatever.
Episode 3 in Lego Star Wars.
Yeah, like episode 3 in Lego Star Wars. I mean, that's I didn't play Lego Star Wars until after that, but yeah, no, that's a great point. But something that Disney did for The Mandalorian was they did not tell anybody about Grogu Baby Yoda until the show released. They did not have toys on day one for The Mandalorian because they were like, we cannot. Because if this gets out, it ruins the entire first episode of the series. It kind of like blows the dramatic tension. I mean, I have Grogu stuff all over my apartment. I've got a Grogu Squishmallow somewhere. Like I love Grogu. Grogu's the best. But like that's where the leaks happen, is with toys. And so my question is that the new WWE Championship belt? Is that a Cena commemorative belt? Because it plays the Cena theme. So I don't know. Again, allegedly. And this was on the internet, and I unfortunately am not able to pull it up right now. So again, huge grain of salt with it all.
So jumping back to this.
Yes.
Again, he says that people hated the spinner belt. They're like, the championship isn't a toy.
Yes.
And he's like, that was your most vulnerable moment. Like, you actually let me see like what you cared about.
Yeah, he says, oh, the spinner belt Cena is going to ruin wrestling. Listen, some would argue Vince Jr. already did ruin wrestling.
Yeah, Cena says, I'm going to ruin wrestling for everyone.
Yeah.
I'll make you forget the name Ric Flair. You'll forever have to say John Cena. Gonna be like, doesn't matter if you hate me.
Yeah.
When they ask who's won the most world championships, you have to say John Cena.
The one thing, production note wise, here is when he's like talking to the camera at this point, he's wearing his hat in such a way that his eyes are covered by the shadow of the bill.
Oh.
And then there's like points where he's lifting his head up actually, and like he's moved the hat so that the bill isn't like the shadow isn't covering his eyes. But like, I mean, that's like film school 101. Like if we can't see a character's eyes, like, can we trust their motivations? Can we trust what they're saying? So,
He says that he's going to win that championship and retire with it.
Yes.
I'm taking it home with me. I will be the last real champion in WWE.
Oh gosh. Yeah. That felt like very. It does feel like it really cements the argument that we're making with this podcast and like what we've talked about before. But like this is the Renaissance era. This is a Renaissance era for the WWE, for pro wrestling in general, and a moment like this where Cena turns heel and is saying like, "Hey, I'm gonna take this new." I mean, like, because the Cody winning it was the unification of the various titles, right? No. Okay, never mind. Disregard my point.
They've been previously unified a handful of times,
Gotcha.
but they had been split at this point. Roman Reigns had a chokehold on it just for so long, but they have the WWE and the World Heavyweight Championship.
World Heavyweight Championship. Okay. All right. Well, never mind. He says he will be the last real champion in WWE, but again, it does feel like a landmark moment of like this guy who has been the face of the program, the face of the company, such a legend in wrestling, like first ballot WWE Hall of Fame, easy. For him to say, "Hey, I'm going to be the last real champion in WWE," it feels like a shift in the moment.
Absolutely.
But then we have our savior, Cody Rhodes, come out. Listen, the Euro crowds, they rock. We just gotta step up, just in general. Like doing the woes during some of the songs, during Cody's song, during Seth Rollins, that's fine. But like, folks, when Seth Rollins walked out to his song and they didn't even have to play it over the speakers, incredible.
Cody comes out and he's like, "I'm sorry. What'd you say?"
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You're going to take this away from them. Don't you have to take it away from me first?"
I made a mistake last week. I didn't look hard enough. You are sincere. You are angry. You are willing. However, you have made a massive mistake. The mistake was saying that in front of these lovely people while I was in the building.
And it gets to a point where it's this idea of the timeline of professional wrestling hangs in the balance because of your vanity.
And I talk about this being such a moment for wrestling in that it's Cody Rhodes. He's a second generation wrestler. It's like continuing the legacy of Dusty, the American Dream, the American Nightmare. There's a certain poetic resonance in that. And there's a moment where Cody takes off his jacket. He lays the belt on the ground, on the floor of the mat. And he says, "John, if you want it, take the belt."
John turns and he leaves.
Well, there is a serious standoff for a moment there. And like John kind of leans forward for a second and then drops the mic and walks out.
The people don't deserve to see him fight. Why would he reward them, is my thought.
Yeah. One thing that at the end of this segment, Cody says, "I see you walking away empty-handed. That's how you'll walk away from WrestleMania." When Cody says this, it's a tight shot of Cody. It's a close-up of Cody from like the chest up. But then as he says, "That's how you're going to walk away from WrestleMania," the camera guy zooms out a little bit, pans up into the right, and there's the WrestleMania sign. Love it. Just love it. Just love it. Show them. Don't tell them. So that's how you'll walk away from WrestleMania, and then that's how you'll walk away from the WWE. Wow. Just what a moment. Like Cody was talking about last year, like finishing the story at WrestleMania. Like this is, I love this. I'm like, they're just like, it's so easy to say. Like this is fun to watch. It's exciting. Like this is when I talk about like the drama of it all, like the Shakespearean drama of it. Like this is it. So Pat McAfee's back.
Yes, he is.
He's wearing a kilt.
How do you say he was wearing it?
He was wearing it old school. So when you wear a kilt, traditionally, it's a big piece of fabric. Like it's pretty big. And like traditionally the way that you wrap it around, it kind of covers it down there. But nobody wants to see that, Patrick. Nobody wants to see that. But getting on to it, we have a recap of Finn Balor versus Braun Breaker from last week. The face-off between Dom and Finn Balor last week, where Dom was suggesting to add Penta to the Judgment Day. Penta, the guy that he just said he wants my belt. You're a snake, Dom. And then Breaker ends up retaining. Lovely. Moving on. We have a tag team match between Jey Uso and his
secret partner.
And A-Town Down Under. But who appears as Jay's secret partner? None other than
Big
Jimmy Uso.
The Usos are back.
Did you see Austin Theory walking in off the ramp? Somebody's sign fell down, and he just immediately took it, tore it in two, and then threw it back into the crowd.
I did not see that. No.
Classic. Amazing. Austin Theory also looks like he only uses slurs available in the chat on those sketchy streaming services. I think it's Jay has a great moment where he catches Grayson Waller's kick in the middle of yeeting, like he's bringing his arms down, and Grayson Waller goes up for the kick. At one point, they throw both of the Aussies out, and then Big Jim goes flying.
And if you notice, Jay pulled the rope down for him, which I just thought was funny, especially because like. I think it's an interesting note. It's like, okay, Jay's like, I watched this last week. He's like, let me just give my brother a little extra insurance here.
Hey, you learn and you move on and you improve. Austin Theory throws Jimmy to the floor. Theory gets a couple chops. He gets a little suck it chop in. Did you see that?
I did see that, yeah.
He got a little suck it chop in. And then the crowd starts singing one of my favorite chants in the UK. Wanker, wanker, wanker. Lovely. Perfect. I think we need to adopt that. Just another thing that we should adopt at sporting events is that you should call somebody a compulsive masturbator.
So, match goes back and forth a little bit. Theory and Waller hit like the springboard stomp, which I thought was very cool.
Mm-hmm.
We end up getting some double hot tags, and I don't even remember what it says. In my notes, it just says "not the cheeks." Well, what Pat McAfee said something.
Pat McAfee said something about the cheeks?
Yeah, said something about eat cheeks.
I'm surprised he didn't have something dumb to say about yeeting. Either WWE HR listened to the podcast and was like, listen, Charlie and Connor, they hate it when you say weird things about yeeting, so just quit it. Or I don't know, maybe he got all of it out of his system in his week off.
So the Usos hit the alley-oos, which I love.
Awesome.
They do an alley-oop spear,
mm-hmm.
and then they win with the 1D. And I feel like I've been lucky enough to say this on almost every episode so far.
Yeah.
It's not a Jey Uso match
Uh-huh.
in the WWE right now.
Right.
Unless Gunther comes out.
And unless Jay slips or botches something. And I was watching something on Instagram and somebody was complaining about like is he doing it on purpose at this point? Because it's just like that's the joke. Is it's just like, okay, well, we kind of have to roll with it now. I don't know. I think Jay is also really good just by himself, like without the yeet persona. Like as a physical performer, he's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. So Gunther appears. He takes Jimmy out of the ring. Jay and Gunther are in the middle. And of course, just as we mentioned, Jay slips as he's running towards the center.
There's a kill shot on Gunther.
Yeah. And then Gunther just uses that to take advantage, get a real licking in. But fortunately, Jimmy strikes with a steel chair.
Yeah, chases him out.
Gets him out of there. And we'll see more from Jimmy Jay and Gunther in a moment here. But of course, as we talked about last week, we go right into the Judgment Day sketch.
Could you hear them like at all?
The audio was not great. I'll give him that.
Okay, because my wife literally asked me, like, do you only get put on the Judgment Day boom duty if they hate you and they know you're bad?
Probably. Yeah, no, if we're going to talk about production stuff. So the Judgment Day, the room where they shot that segment in. So any sort of big production like that, like a WWE show, they're going to have 20, 30 cameras just like running around. And they run on batteries, right? That table behind the Judgment Day, and then there was like a rack also. Those are just all batteries, so that camera guys can come in, hot swap a battery, put in a drained one, get a fresh one, go back out, so they can keep the production moving. So I thought that was really interesting. They just use like every inch of space they can, because again, like you don't want to keep going to the same spaces backstage, and so mixing it up like that, I feel like is really interesting. But that also comes with the disadvantage of like, okay, maybe, you don't get enough time to test the audio in there, or like something happens and you hit the wrong knob. Like so many different things can happen. But yeah, no. I always keep subtitles on, even if they are a little delayed on the live broadcast.
It's too far behind. It kills me.
Yeah.
I get so confused when I hear something and I read something else. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, but basically Raquel's gonna win.
Double champ.
She's gonna be double champ. Carlito is always really smart. He's got that apple. It always keeps an apple a day, keeps the doctor away. So yeah, no, I again, like it just felt like kind of quick, kind of just boom, like, oh, Raquel, you're gonna win. Carlito pops in, Finn comes in and he's angry. It's just like, okay, all right, I get it. I get the point.
Yeah.
Okay, so real quick, they have a promotion for the new soccer belts, the WWE Championship belts. So the belts come in the insignia and colors of 12 major European clubs and Tottenham Hotspur.
Boo.
Yes, thank you.
Boo.
Apparently McIntyre's a Rangers fan, and they talked about this briefly on the program. But Glasgow is a city of 2 football clubs. And they're divided on sectarian and religious, or not sectarian, but religious and political grounds. So there's Rangers and there's Celtic. Rangers are an openly loyalist and Protestant club. And so they are folks that are subservient to the British crown and want to continue to have, like, be a part of the United Kingdom. Scots who want to be a part of the United Kingdom. Celtic, on the other hand, are they were founded by Irish refugees who left Ireland due to the Troubles and the plagues and all. Well, not the plague, the
famine.
The famine. It wasn't a famine though. It was just the Brits or the English didn't let the Irish eat anything but potatoes. It was a genocide. That's what it was. But Celtic are the Catholic, the Irish, the left-wing club. They have Palestinian flags all up in the supporter section. So I just thought it was really funny that McIntyre's a Rangers fan, of course. And Pat was like, I'm not getting in the middle of this. Like, smart move, Patrick. Probably the smartest thing you've said all year. But yes, yes. Along aside there on football. And shitting on Tottenham. But again, 12 major European clubs and Tottenham. Okay, let's get into the real, like, this was my warm-up for getting, that was my warm-up for getting mad. The Lucha Libre sizzle reel. So they talk about the long legacy of Lucha Libre, luchadors. Wrestling that originates from Mexico. Is based in much more fluid, much more technical style. You got the masks. They talk about the various famous luchadors in history. I don't know why we're doing this. Like, I get why the president wants to rename it to the Gulf of America, and why the WWE is leaning into this when they're leaning out of other things. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. And then, the AI art.
I was gonna say it was AI, right?
There was so much AI art, and like, listen, 3 years after like Dolly 3 came out, and it's still not any good. Like, it's still not that good. Like, can't do hands, can't do crowds, can't do text. Like, it's just like, when you look at everything else the WWE graphics teams and marketing teams and like their design team puts out there, it's like each wrestler has their unique persona, their whole walk-up thing, the unique logo. And then just for this to just like fart out a bunch of AI art, like, I'm starting a business, right? And just like every business tool now is like AI this and AI that and AI that. It's so exhausting. And I am on a soapbox right now. It's so exhausting and so tiring. So this is El Grande Americano.
Starbucks head ass.
Yeah, Starbucks head ass. Like, and again, like, what's an Americano as a drink?
What, espresso and milk?
It's espresso and hot water.
Oh, just water.
And it developed in Italy during World War II and after the war, as American soldiers were stationed there for post-war activities, including Operation Gladio. Look it up. We helped fascists in Italy keep power after the war. Yeah, no, we did some really bad stuff in Italy after the war. But American GIs, 19, 20-year-olds who had just fought in this war, they wanted American coffee, American drip coffee. That is drastically different than espresso. Espresso is concentrated, and it's usually a different grind of bean as well. And so, in order to like replicate American coffee, what Italian cafes would do is they would just put it in a cappuccino cup. They'd pour the 2 shots of espresso in, and then just top it off with hot water. And it replicates the American drip coffee to a point where it became so popular. So, yeah, no, I don't really drink coffee anymore. I'm a sugar-free Red Bull type of guy. I was never a big Americano. I like my milk. I like my lattes. I like my flat whites. So, yeah. So after that sizzle reel and like introducing finally El Grande Americano, this American themed luchador, red, white, and blue stuff, we get Ray and Dragon Lee backstage with Adam Pearce, and they're just like, yo, what is this? Like, and like, even if it is, they're acting, right? But like, there is a degree of like, this is kind of a slap in our faces, like our culture. And they're like, we don't want to fight this guy, or like, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, first it was just that it's like he's the newest addition to Raw.
Yes.
Like, so the whatever, and in the kayfabe of it, right? They're like, we've hired this person.
Yeah.
May or may not be Chad Gable. We've just signed them to another. Like, if you're Chad Gable and you're cashing 2 checks because they also signed you under Americano Grande, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, no, shout out to Chad. Get that bag, dude. Chad appears and he's sniffling. Oh, I got sick.
He's got a doctor's note.
I got a doctor's note. I think Ray said it best. What is this, kindergarten?
Yeah.
Did Jordan actually have the flu? Or was he hungover?
I ate the whole pizza myself. What I really love is as they're going to leave, Ray just goes to Chad and goes, you're a real jackass.
Michael Cole had a great point. He was like, oh, if Chad's sick, he should put on a mask.
I did hear that.
And you know what, Michael, that's a great point. Michael Cole, You got to be safe. If you're not feeling well, put on a mask. But that's also like, oh, put on a luchador mask. Dragon Lee is so angry that Nick Aldis offers him an opportunity to fight El Grande Americano later in the evening.
Yeah, as a replacement for Chad,
Mm-hmm.
Grande Americano will step up and
Yes.
have this match with Dragon Lee.
Oh, it's Adam Pierce is the GM, right?
Right.
For Raw.
Yes.
Yeah. Adam did not have a good night last night. He was dealing with a lot of stuff. And we'll talk more about that in a moment. The one celebrity in the crowd last night was Richard Gadd, who is the creator and star of Baby Reindeer. Have you seen Baby Reindeer?
No.
Baby Reindeer. You should watch it. It's
Okay.
really good. Great art should make you feel things. And Baby Reindeer made me feel uncomfortable. And it made me learn a lot about myself. And great art makes you do things like that. So shout out, Richard. Can't wait to see what you do next. In the next match, we have Raquel Rodriguez versus Lyra Valkyria. Or Lyra Valkyria. Lyra is the holder of a women's title.
The Women's Intercontinental Championship.
The Women's Intercontinental Championship. Raquel wants this so that she can be a double champion, the tag team champion, and also the Intercontinental Championship. So yeah, it starts out, and again, we've got another a matchup of the talls and the smalls.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Raquel is just really throwing Lyra around. And while doing this, Liv is just making cracks to the announcers table. Liv reminds me of the girl in your gym class that would always dress for class. Like, she would go to the locker room, come back in like the gym uniform, but like she would like talk to the gym teacher the entire period and not actually do anything. Like, she gives me that energy.
My school did not have gym or girls, so. But I agree. It was the talls and the smalls. Raquel really just starts by like ragdolling Lyra around, does like an airplane spin and a big toss. But eventually Lyra gets a little bit of a comeback, kind of like does this roll through to throw Raquel out of the ring, jumps through the ropes, ends up hitting a Hurricane Rana. But when they come back in the ring, did you see the big boot that Raquel hit Lyra with? Like, that looked hard. That might have been just like, they might have been like, you really got to lay into this one to make it look good. Because that was obliterating.
Lyra was doing a great job of selling, too.
Oh, absolutely. So, there's more back and forth. Raquel goes for and then eventually hits her corkscrew elbow drop. Raquel catches a crossbody, tries to do a vertical suplex. Lyra turns it to a DDT. And as it looks like she's going to get the win here, Liv pulls Raquel's foot on the rope to break the count.
Of course.
Ref didn't see it. Ref was counting, obviously focusing on the wrestler's shoulders. Can't also watch the rope, but then somehow sees the rope and his foot on it.
Lyra turns Raquel onto her back, pins, and wins, baby. But Liv, of course, she's not happy with that result. She attacks in the ring. But who comes out?
Role model. Bayley.
Pam!
Bayley comes out, makes the save, and then raises Lyra's hand in the ring. Kind of a beginning of probably a passing of the torch kind of moment here.
Yeah, and because they were talking about on commentary about how Lyra is so inspired by Bayley. Bayley's such a role model for her and everything. So that was cool to see. Okay, can we talk about that Men's Warehouse? The two Men's Warehouse ads that were in the show. Did you see those?
I skipped the hell out of those.
Okay, yeah, skip the hell out of the commercials, but they had this Men's Warehouse ad that was like, it's this guy, he's like, I'm 30, he's got to be like in his mid-30s, and he's like, oh, I got invited to my sister's 40th birthday party, and she said, don't show up like a bum. And so he like goes to Men's Warehouse and he gets like the most basic like dark blue shirt and dark jeans combo, and he goes to his sister's birthday party and he's like, where's the cake? And it's just like, what I put was like weird, emasculating, childish. Like, I get that some men can't dress themselves and they have to rely on their partners, usually their female partners, to assist them. But it just felt real weird. I didn't like it. I felt a touch offended.
That's what you get for watching commercials.
I'm just trying to support the company.
I bet you are.
We get another shot of Pat talking about his kilt. Again, EU. But we do get an announcement about another European swing in August leading up to Clash in the Castle. I'm very stoked about that. They had some pretty awesome shows lined up. Manchester, Paris, Birmingham, I think. So that'll be really cool to see that European swing and all the fun stuff there. Because it'll be during the summer as well. And so, like, I may have sent it to you, but like Cody Rhodes did something with Manchester City, and so they're probably going to do like social stuff with all the various European clubs.
That'd be so cool.
It is. Undertaker came out for like the Saudi Arabian Cup, the Saudi, like the Saudi FA's Cup
In gimmick.
Yes,
Like
in
not
kayfabe.
not as
Not as Mark.
Calloway.
Yeah.
WWE legend, literally as Undertaker full gear. I'm gonna lift the trophy like I lifted the urn.
Yeah. All right. So again, after that announcement about the Euro swing in August, we get a recap about the contract signing last week. Io Sky and Bianca Belair's match at Wrestlemania in April. However, Rhea Ripley walks into the match. She interrupts this contract signing and signs her own name on the contract. Now, is that legally binding? Adam Pearce definitely wants to clear things up.
But before that,
what did I miss?
we gotta go backstage. Before he actually explains it, we have Jimmy and Jay in the back.
Oh, yes. So, the one thing with Jay and Jimmy, like as Jimmy is sitting down, I was just like, why does this feel like Bert and Ernie?
Oh my god.
Hi, Jay. Hi, Jimmy.
So Jimmy's talking to Jay, and he's like, "What's with you? You messed up that dive that you've been doing for 15 years. You became a meme, and you missed the kill shot tonight."
Mm-hmm.
Jay says, "I'm not sure if I can beat Gunther." Jimmy says, "You know what? You can't." And, Jay all mad, and he like, grabs him on his arm,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "We need the right-hand man."
Yes.
Right? Talking about which versions of Jay they need.
Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was very funny. Again, just like very brother, just like that's not the one we need.
Yeah. We need the other Jay. We need Jay,
The right hand man, the Intercontinental Champion,
the
the Royal Rumble winner.
I don't like new Jay. I like the old Jay. I miss the old Jay.
It's there. We're close.
You just need a couple more syllables. I know English.
So, when they end up parting ways, Jimmy sees Gunther in the hall and challenges Gunther.
Well, the way that it works, like blocking wise, is it's like Jimmy and Jay on these steps, and then Jimmy walks down the hall, and it turns out the hall turns around, and there's another hallway, and Gunther is right down there. So, like, Gunther probably heard that entire conversation.
I don't know. It's nothing he hasn't already heard them say into a microphone.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jimmy challenged him to next week.
Mm-hmm.
And did you hear what Gunther said?
As long as you don't trip and fall like your brother.
And Jimmy slaps the hell out of Gunther.
Oh, it was really good. It was thwack. And then it's time for Adam Pearce to clear things up. The contract was for Io and Bianca's match for the Women's Championship at WrestleMania. Rhea came out to start a fight and scribble her signature. That does not make it official. Rhea is not in the match. Rhea's signature does not matter. The rematch was coming up, but Bianca earned the right and opportunity. Rhea has owned one, but on her time. Io comes out. She says she'll take them both on. She doesn't care. Bianca comes out. Bianca makes her case. And then it's mommy time.
Well, do you know what Bianca's argument was, or what Bianca was saying? Did you write that down?
I did not, unfortunately.
So Bianca is basically saying, don't let Rhea work her way into this match.
Right, yes.
Which I just think is interesting, going back to before, where it's the idea of, like, would she rather face Io Sky or Rhea Ripley? Was there more originally to this? Was it not just some casual pushing and all back then? Was it a long game from Bianca? I think we're going to see heel Bianca very soon.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I think we're going to get heel Bianca very soon, because I don't think anyone's going to boo Io right now. I think they're going to turn Bianca.
Yeah, no. Io is Io. Io is so lovely and just so much fun to watch. Rhea's Rhea. Rhea's Rhea. Yeah, Rhea's Rhea. And Bianca with this whole brouhaha between her, Naomi, and Jade. Yeah, no, I can definitely see that heel turn. But again, this is my brutality. Rhea comes out. She doesn't give a damn about WrestleMania. I don't give a damn about WrestleMania. Now she wants her rematch.
They gotta stop pie facing Io.
They really.
This is an Io Sky podcast. You will stop pie facing Io Sky and disrespecting our women's world champion.
She deserves that. She deserves the women's world championship, not being pie faced. And so Adam is pissed because he's just like, okay, come on. Like last week we were supposed to have a contract signing, and then Rhea came in and she just scribbled her name on it and then just ran out with the signature. And so Adam is just like, okay, like we'll just figure this out and we'll get it done. He says, now you want your rematch. You already waited 3 weeks. You can wait another 3 weeks. Bianca said that. I also put in my notes, don't touch Io like that at all. Adam jumps in, he breaks it up, and he says, I have a solution. This is great management here. He sees a problem, he has a quick solution, and it honestly satisfies everybody.
To steal from Michael Feller, Hand in the Dirt, see a problem, solve a problem. That's coaching.
Is that a coaching book?
No, that is it's a college football podcast, but really it's a lifestyle podcast.
Okay. All right. So he breaks it up. He has the solution. It's Rhea versus Io next week, and then the winner faces Bianca at WrestleMania. And again, the girls are fighting. We don't like to see this. We like to see it in the sense of like it's good wrestling action.
But if the whole thing is that it doesn't matter that Rhea signed the contract,
yeah,
the other two already. So isn't the contract where it says Io Sky, who has signed this, is facing Bianca Belair, who has signed? So shouldn't that match be official no matter what because they signed the contract? And now it's up in the air?
It's not up in the air. Adam said it's Rhea versus Io.
Well, no, but it could be. No, but I'm saying for WrestleMania. So now WrestleMania could be Rhea versus Bianca when there was already a signed contract. Like if the whole thing was what Rhea did doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the contract is legally binding.
Well, we'll find out next week. Not even next week. We'll find out tomorrow. Because this comes out on Thursday.
Oh, right.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Kayfabe. Yeah. Anything else on Adam's no good Monday night?
No. And it's not going to get any better for him anytime soon.
It does not. Penta and Dom are backstage. Dom finally offers Penta not a job in the Judgment Day, but a spot in the Judgment Day. Mentions that he could be Intercontinental Champion tonight.
So we'll see. Where does Penta fall? He has not won a championship in WWE. He has this offer in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot to think about. And then we jump from him to New Day Sucks. New Day Sucks.
Well, real quick, there is a another commercial, and I hate that I keep talking about commercials here on a wrestling podcast. Real quick, Connor can see it. It's behind me. But my shelf of DVDs and other physical media. Okay, Netflix has a new original movie coming out in which the main character uses DVDs to communicate with her dead mother. The streaming service Netflix.
What if they could only communicate using the Pink Panther? Double gore.
and it's not even Peter Sellers' Pink Panther, which I'm so disappointed in. I those movies didn't age very well though. Okay. So yes, new day sucks.
They demand a title shot at WrestleMania, and Pierce says that you should want to prove yourselves. If you're really a tag team, you are.
Mm-hmm.
You would want to prove yourselves, and until you do, don't let the door hit you, or the good Lord split you.
Where the good Lord split you. Yeah, you could tell Adam is reaching the end of his rope there. Bianca comes out to sort of circle back on the earlier situation. And Adam, in a stroke of genius, frankly, again, a great management decision from Adam Pierce. He goes, you know what, Bianca, you're the guest referee for the Io Rhea match next week. Which, when I was thinking about it, I was like, she'll be biased? Is she going to be biased? And then I was like, well, no, she won't be biased because she has to face either one of them. And they could both, each one of them can both kick her ass, or vice versa.
Like I said, I was already thinking that she was going to interfere. There's going to be something here about, who she wants to actually face and why and how she. And now they just get to put it they're like, we know there's this big thing going on where things are uncertain because of how a certain match turned out. We're going to put a big gimmick on this to be like, well, something weird's going to happen. I've never seen a special ref just call it down the middle.
So, yeah, that'll be interesting. Now, finally, we have El Grande Americano versus Dragon Lee. Connor has his face in his hand right now, just trying. We don't want to talk about this. The Mariachi Stars and Stripes Forever is such a corny touch for the walkout music. Of course, the Ole, Ole, Ole chants break out. So at this point, I'm like, okay, let me go to Wikipedia, because let me understand what Chad Gable's up to. So Chad, college wrestler, Olympic wrestler, but it the Wikipedia article is participating in kayfabe, and it's might be El Grande Americano. It references Michael Cole's skepticism about the whole situation. So his Wikipedia article is pretty clear that Chad is El Grande Americano. I really didn't have much to say about this match except for the unmasking of Dragon Lee.
That's all you got, brother?
That's pretty much all I had, unfortunately.
All right, I'll make this quick. Start some beautiful arm drags and mat wrestling, they call it. Again, that fluidity was amazing. There was a point where Americano goes up and says, "Gracias," one of Chad Gable's old gimmicks. Thank you. And earlier in the match, Dragon Lee was actually trying to take off Grande Americano's mask.
Oh, okay.
Earlier, which I thought was interesting for, like you said, what we saw later. Dragon hits his stomp when he was hanging outside the ring on the turnbuckle, and Dragon did a great job selling his leg after that, making it seem like he also got hurt.
Yeah.
Go back and forth, miss moonsaults, great sit out power bomb,
and the moonsault is something that Chad uses. It's in his arsenal,
and we've seen him land it on his feet before too. But then Americano pulls Dragon Lee's mask off, puts him in the ankle lock, another move of Chad Gable's.
Yep.
Dragon taps out, and Grande Americano is undefeated in the WWE.
You hate to say it. Hate to see it. All right. And then after a quick recap of the end of SmackDown on Friday night with Roman, Seth, and Punk's Kiss-a-thon, we have the aforementioned CM Punk come out. And Punk is not in a good mood. And he says that it's hard for him. It's hard for him to be in a bad mood when he walks out to such a reception like that in Glasgow. He's jet lagged. I feel that. I hate jet lag. But he's excited about his triple threat match at WrestleMania. What he wants, he's not getting. Or is he? He wanted to win the Royal Rumble. He wanted to win the Elimination Chamber.
He needed to win the Elimination
Chamber. He works with children. Seth.
So Han, do you know what that's a callback to?
Not exactly.
So when he was in AEW,
Mhm.
he did an interview after, I believe it was a pay-per-view, and he was like, I'm effing tired. I work with effing children.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm effing hurt.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So
Yeah, no, because we've talked about that previously. Okay, all right, so that makes a lot more sense when he calls Seth Rollins a diaper piss baby.
a little diaper piss baby Seth Rollins screwed me.
It's just business, really. And there's that like moment where Punk's looking at the camera and he gets that sly wink off. Oh, incredible.
He says that the two men that stand in his way of what he need to go.
Yes.
He then says Roman's wise man isn't just his wise man.
Mm-hmm.
And then this Friday at London, we're going to have a good old-fashioned contract signing.
I want to read the fine print. And good on you, Punk. Good on you, Punk. Read the fine print. He wants, most importantly, us to listen to two things. For Rollins and Roman, it is neither of you have ever defeated me without the other's help, because you can't. Excuse me. And I brought you into this business. I cannot wait to be the man to kick you both out.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Yes, chef's kiss there. We cut to a selfie video of Logan Paul in a hot tub. Just like two of your least favorite people going against each other.
Yeah. And again, like, this has like been built off like 3 interactions, 2 of which only one of them was there. Like, I don't know. I hope we get to some meat and potatoes of this soon, because this is already like wearing on me.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with what you said previously about Mr. Paul. Then we have a lead-in to our main event of the evening. It's Braun Breaker with Kathy Kelly, leading into his match with Penta for the Intercontinental Championship match. Breaker, pretty simple. You know, the dogs are out.
And they're barking
Woof,
in
woof,
Glasgow.
woof, woof.
So I really loved this match. Penta starts off with a bunch of leg kicks, kind of like he's trying to chop Breaker down, slow him down. Breaker hits his big running clothesline, right, that they call breakneck speed.
Yep.
Penta tries to do a springboard, but Breaker gets his knees up.
Mm-hmm.
And then Breaker had to do the diving clothesline over the table.
Oh, yeah.
But then, who comes out?
Carlito and Dom.
I wrote, "Here come the clowns."
God damn.
They trade some punches. Penta gets some super kicks in. Penta does a spinning bulldog. Penta hits a backstabber. Penta signals for the Destroyer, the Canadian Destroyer. No, the Mexican Destroyer. Braun picks him up press style, but Penta gets his knees up. Braun gets him up on his shoulders later, right? Hits an over-the-rope Rana. Penta hits his tope con hilo, dive outside the ring. Then Penta finally hits the Mexican Destroyer. Braun kicks out at 2. Braun ends up hitting the Frankensteiner, or Breakensteiner, as you point out before, because I did not catch that the last time. I made sure to listen this time, and they did say both. And then Braun Breaker did one of the most important things for a wrestler in a single to do. He dropped the straps.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. At this point, you know, Dom is distracting and Carlito is trying to interfere, but he gets speared, causing a disqualification. And then Finn Balor comes out with the steel chair. Dom hits Breaker with the steel chair and offers the steel chair to Penta. Dom taunts Penta.
Well, did you see when Finn was giving the chair to Dominic and how he kind of took like an aggressive step and look at Dominic? And I wasn't sure if this was going to be where we were going to see them break apart. But then he gave it to Dominic to hit him, and then they offered it to Penta. And Penta does the Rob Van Dam and throws it at Dom to catch, and then just kicks it when Dom catches it.
Finn attacks at this point. You get the coup de grace from Finn Balor. Just incredible. You know, Toxic Judgment Day just causing chaos. And again, like, you get all of that action at the end there. And kind of ending on that action, leaving it to like, okay, how is next week? How is Friday going to start, basically? So, yeah, another really well balanced show. Is there anything else that you wanted to say about Breaker versus Penta before we recap?
If this just becomes another 3-way, and this is just the like the WrestleMania that's just all triple threat matches, I'm gonna be a little bummed.
Yeah, because it's not. If you could divide 41 by 3, I'd be like, yeah, sure, cool, fine, whatever. But you can't. If it was WrestleMania 33 and they were all triple threat matches, okay.
If they go back in time and do that, we can talk about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, okay. That's okay.
That's a good idea. I get it.
So yeah, no, again, like I felt like Monday's show, Raw, again, really well balanced, really well paced. You know, the starting off with the Cena Town Hall and then ending with that Breaker Penta match, and like Penta's dilemma of you know, having the Judgment Day in front of him and that opportunity in front of him, and the during a title match like that. I think it's really interesting. It adds a lot of stuff to Penta's character, and I'm really excited to see what happens next for Penta. He's just really fun to watch. Great character.
I think I said episode 1. Put a title on that man.
Put a title on that man. Yeah. Anything else about Raw from last night?
Love the European crowds.
Yeah.
Again, just more setup work here. We're just a handful of weeks away from WrestleMania. Some things are still kind of opening up. Some things are kind of clearing into the picture, but I'm sure they still got a couple twists left down the road here.
And we'll be here for all of those twists and turns. Again, this is The C Show. All right, and welcome back to The C Show. We're here wrapping up the show today, talking about AEW Dynasty. So AEW, of course, the rival competition to WWE right now, they're having their second annual Dynasty pay-per-view event at the Liacouras Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Liacouras Center is located at Temple University, Connor and I's fine alma mater. But really exciting news here. I am going to AEW Dynasty on April 6th, and just kind of wanted to preview that. We'll have more stuff from after I go to the show, so keep a lookout on that on all of our social media channels and on YouTube as well. So the matches for the event right now are Kenny Omega, who's the current champion who is the current title holder for the International Championship, versus Ricochet and Speedball Mike Bailey. They're in a 3-way match for that title belt.
Shout out DPW for Speedball Mike Bailey.
Then we have the aforementioned Jon Moxley, who is the world champion right now of AEW, versus Swerve Strickland.
I did see the clips going around of this past week with the, like, I don't know, bat with nails or 2x4 with nails. Did you see that? That was absolutely wild.
Yeah, no. I will definitely try to catch that on the replay. And then there is the final match, the main event is Timeless Toni Storm versus Megan Bayne for the AEW Women's World Championship. I mean, if you haven't been watching the clips of Toni Storm, like, what have you been doing? Like, just the way that she commands the mic, her whole aura, her whole persona is fabulous. That's like what I'm most stoked about, is seeing Toni Storm. You're looking at me, you got the eyebrows perked.
I would really say that it's timeless.
And folks, I think that's just where we'll leave it, you know? Thank you so much for listening to The C Show. Thanks again for joining us on The C Show. If you liked the show, please make sure to subscribe, rate, review, and share it with your friends. Follow The C Show on social media. We're on Instagram, Blue Sky, Facebook, and YouTube at cshowpod. That's C as in Charlie, or C as in Connor, SHOWPOD. And if you have a question for us, please send it in, cshowpod@gmail.com. You can find Charlie on Instagram at CharlesFStew and on Blue Sky at CharlesFStewart.com. Connor is on Blue Sky at bsdoj.bluesky.social. The name is Cliff. Thanks to our friends Amir and Patrick for their assistance. The C Show is a production of 832 Media. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.